As I sat in the gilded decadence of one of Skidmore's luxury Northwoods apartments preparing to play a show, I found myself lost in the self-indulgent pleasures that are college. My friend Scott turned to me and said,
"What up, John? Fucking Shefflin, right here in the fucking house. Back in the day, shorty, you don't even know."
Freeze frame. It occurred to me that he was right. I didn't even know. How did we end up here? What had led us to becoming one of Skidmore's most respected, reverent, and successful bands? To find out, I had to untangle the intricate interwoven webs surrounding our progression. I had to go back.
Yeah, just do it! Yeah, do it! 1, 2, 3. Oh, hi. Can you speak come in?
Sorry, we got a call tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
What do you guys think about Houseboat?
Love them. They're shit.
Cheap.
Raunchy.
Slutty.
Energetic. Like a never-ending staircase made of sand.
Who? Now, I'd known Andrew, Scott, and John since freshman year, and I couldn't believe it. They'd been playing together since they were 12 years old, and I couldn't believe that at that point they hadn't gotten together and made themselves a band on campus. They'd played together in high school and middle school, and you know, for like pretty substantial events and gigs at different bars, and it just like I couldn't fathom that they didn't, you know, reincarnate their little band together at college. You know, this, you know, especially at Skidmore too, where every single person thinks they have, you know, something to offer to the music scene.
I didn't really have a solid band. I wasn't playing with anyone consistently, but it made so much sense to play with my brother and John, just because I had played with them for so long, and we had played a bunch of shows and done a bunch of recordings. So the beginning of junior year, we were talking about playing a lot more, and you know, Scott and John were both back at Skidmore. I'll leave that open, but they were both back at Skidmore, so we wanted to get something together and play a lot of shows on campus.
I was suite mates with Warren in the beginning of last year, and I had heard him playing guitar a lot at nights. So one fall evening, Andrew, John, and I were playing on the roof of the Tang. And just by chance, I remember Warren came up with his amp and his bass.
That jam on the roof of the Tang really represented a step forward for Andrew, Scott, and I in our musical careers here at Skidmore. In the past, we'd been playing with a string of non-committal bassists, none of which we really clicked with, and none of which we'd formed a cohesive, you know, band with. And then Warren was essentially just a ray of sunshine in the dark, gloomy day that had become our musical careers.
I came up with this idea that they should do a show. Kind of one thing led to the next, and I talked to Andrew about this in depth and I eventually convinced him to do this show.
I forget exactly who the person was who suggested that we play a Halloween show. Somebody. But we started practicing with Warren in Scott's girlfriend's, at the time, garage. And we came up with a pretty cool set, and we practiced for about a week or two. And then we played our first Halloween show with Warren, and it was just so successful.
It was going to be a great time, you know, it was going to be this little Halloween show. And who knew, the show blew up. I mean, it was incredible.
I really didn't think we were going to do that well. I thought we sounded alright during practice. I just didn't know how many people were going to show up to our house. You know, this really hadn't been done in this way before. I think Houseboat started this Scribner rage. I mean, I've seen bands in Scribner before, I've seen DJs, but not like Houseboat.
combination of Halloween at Skidmore, which is expected to be fantastic. Oh, excuse me. Expected to be fantastic, but it's really just terrible. And I was in Houseboat as their organ and synthesizer player, but now I'm really went my own direction. I really went the independent electronic way. Houseboat really wasn't ready to be brought into the 21st century. They were really lagging behind sometime in the late 70s. And it was about my time to mature as a musician, and they've matured a lot too.
I was at Houseboat's first show. I was there, Halloween 2009. I went because I wanted to see Warren in a banana costume. That's entirely the reason that I went. And I expected Houseboat to sound terrible. They didn't sound great, but like they definitely sounded good, and they definitely put on a good show, despite the fact that they were just playing like a comedy Halloween music. But that's what the people wanted, you know?
The music isn't really the highest standard. It's just the party. If it's a good party, it's a good show as far as we're concerned. If everyone's dancing and, you know, we get everyone to have a great night because of that, and, you know, get a few people laid, you know, guilty, but that's great for us. That's a great feeling, and there's nothing like it. After our first show, the Halloween show of 2009, we kind of got a rep as a party band, and, you know, the shows just started coming in. We started getting offers in Scribner and, you know, this and that, and our friends wanted us to play, and it was great because being a party band, there's so little required other than consent, or, you know, implied consent will do, or, you know, as long as it's not obvious dissent, you know, we'll play.
So playing in Scribner is definitely a unique experience. In a regular venue, you almost can expect what sort of crowd you're going to get. You know, if you play in Falstaffs, you can make an official invite, and it's on the books, so to speak. But in Scribner, or in Northwoods for that matter, you're not allowed to have live bands on campus. All it takes for a Houseboat to play in Skidmore is just one person in the house to say yes. It doesn't matter if the whole house is down, but once we hear yes, Houseboat's playing, and it's a hard force to stop. And it's not just Houseboat, it's the Houseboat groupies. It's the Houseboat dudes. And it's a bunch of other random people. So that's a hard force to stop.
There's very little we need. Practice, instruments, strings, all those things are secondary to someone just saying, yeah, we'd love to have you play. And if they say that, you know, we'll get as many people as we can to come over to your house.
I mean, I don't know, a lot of Houseboat shows get busted because they play in Scribner and they play loudly.
You know, they're a talented band. They got me written up Valentine's Day.
I'll tell you what happened, because it always happens the same way. Houseboat, dressed in weird flamboyant outfits, resembling cowboys and some, I don't know, some other professions. And campus safety came. Obviously they didn't knock on the door, so rude. And we opened the door, a lot of underage drinking, kids start filtering out the back, I run upstairs, cock the crack. Sorry.
And I take one for the team.
I'd say it's always funny, like, it's kind of not expected, but it's never surprising when Campo comes, and sometimes it's really funny when they show up after like 2 songs or something. Or when the band is like playing in their underwear to just Campo, like What Do We Do in the Road or something. And I would also say that Campo's really nipped some great Houseboat shows right in the bud.
Are they out there?
Still out there, yeah.
Oh yeah? Fuck you! Getting shut down isn't always a drag. That's really half the fun to some of our shows. It's, you know, the element of surprise. At any minute, campus safety could bust in and end our night prematurely, and that kind of feeling is an added level of excitement, you know? It's half the fun of playing these shows is, can we make it?